Hey everybody, Ed here, and I wanted to take you through live my most crucial process of the day, and that is fueling up in the markets that I'm most interested in. So I want to take you through what I do in the morning, and then I'm going to show you what I also do in the evening. I tend to do this at 2 times. Now you'll notice I'm doing this on the iPad. And the reason I do that is because I think it's the best possible thing to do it on. Does that mean you can't do this on your computer, your PC, your Android device, or whatever it happens to be? Absolutely not. The theories are absolutely identical. It's just maybe the smoothness and coolness is a little bit different because, this to me is the most important thing I do during the day, fueling up. And to do that in the most effective and efficient way possible is absolutely crucial to me. So it's been killing me because I've got to say I haven't done this yet, and you can probably see from the iPad time there, it's 11:30 in the morning. Typically I try to do this sort of, usually I do it first thing because I just can't wait to see what's gone on overnight because of the time zone. I do recommend that you try to block out specific times for it, and don't get it trapped into the habit. One of the reasons I love doing this stuff on an iOS device as opposed to my computer, 2 reasons. One is obviously I travel a little bit, so it's nice to have this process where I can flick through all this and stay in touch with what's going on very quickly, and the iPad's wonderful for that. And the second thing is that you'll often hear me say throughout this entire Always Be Shipping course that I do social media standing up. I really think a lot of market leadership activities, a lot of social media should be done away from your computer where you're creating content. Because make no mistake, as I've said, this is one of the most important things I will do all day. But believe it or not, this is not what we would call around here a critical focus task, a task that moves your business forward. You could do this all you like. You could become the world genius of what I'm about to show you, and it won't make you 1 single cent. It's literally putting petrol into your, virtual fuel tank. Unless you flick the switch, turn the key on the car, start the engine, push down the accelerator and go, you won't go anywhere. Same here. Unless you take this information and use it, which of course what's the rest of this humongous course is all about, then this information is useless to you. So, with all of that preamble, let's get cracking in and show you exactly what I do. Now, the first task of the day is to use Twitter. And I must admit, I use an iPhone app to look at Twitter. I've got the Twitter app here on my iPad, which is excellent. It's excellent. This is the actual official Twitter application. But I've got to say, I use my iPhone app more because it is even more efficient at this process. So here we are on my beloved Tweetbot. And as I say, this is an iPhone application. It's not an iPad application. I'm doing it on the iPad just so you can see it. But most importantly, I want to show you why I use this particular client, because there's a lot of hidden power features in this which are not readily apparent unless somebody shows you. And again, without pushing, you can do this on any sort of application. It doesn't matter, but you'll just see why I do and have a look at this so efficiently. So as I scroll down, we can see messages. There's good old James and Mark. So if I wanted to have a look at this particular post from Leo Laporte, for example, I just do a double tap on that URL and it just takes me straight to this particular post. Okay, so there we have it. Now, if I wanted to I don't have the time to read that now. So if I wanted to send that to Instapaper, which I'll be introducing you to shortly, so I can read it at my leisure later and use it to, practice market leadership, then all I have to do is hold down on that, and look at that. Up pops a entire bunch of things that I can do. I can send Instapaper. I can tweet the URL, but in this case, I just want to send the Instapaper. So you can see by just doing just some just literally tapping, I can absolutely, put things, through so quickly and so fast. So I'm just going to keep scrolling down there. There we are. I should just say some some of these may be a little bit unsafe for work, just warning you. So I'm just having a scroll through here. Okay, so this is sad enough to retweet. You can see Paul Colligan's using this social media exchange program. I remember we used to have these 10 years ago on the web. Quite hilarious, but Paul's there. So I'm going to give Paul a retweet just so I can show you guys how the retweet works. So the way, simply, all I have to do is triple tap. In other words, 3 little taps of my finger. 1, 2, 3. And up it comes. Retweet to followers. Tap, and I'm done. You can imagine as I'm going through this, just how quick all this does. So, when I'm doing my morning sort of filter, I don't want to, I want to process this information as quickly as I possibly can. It's all about speed. When I have leisure time, I'm going to show you my evening process. When I can look at things with a bit more leisure, then I'll show you what I do there. But this is morning at the moment, so I'm processing these things as quickly as possible. It's also useful to have these techniques because you can whip out your phone, Android, iOS, whatever it happens to be, and you can quickly filter this information and file it for later use wherever you happen to be. Could be in a queue waiting for an ATM, waiting for your kids at ballet, whatever it happens to be. So it's brilliant for that. So let's keep scrolling through. So this is intriguing. So I'm just going to double tap on this link here. Mark Copeman talking about MasterChef meets McDonald's. Oh, that's classic. And you can see it shows pictures. So it's as you can see, it's just such a... Geez, you are so behind. I'm so glad that this is going out in a course that is being absolutely, preserved for all time, because pointing out that Lisa Hartwell only just figured out that Liz Hurley is dating Shane Warne, that is very, very, very sad. In fact, let's look at Lisa's profile. You might want to follow Lisa because you can also be as entertained as I am. All we have to do to follow Lisa is just double tap on her picture and you can see her details there, and she is actually a wonderful She's the queen of voiceovers there in the UK. You can see that she's following me, but you can see how there's so many things that you can do here. If I wasn't following Lisa, I could hit follow here and do it. And another awesome thing about Tweetbot is that I can add to lists. And as you'll see in Always Be Shipping later on, list management in Twitter is actually an extremely powerful thing. And you'll see that again in my evening examples as well. Now, we don't want to unfollow Lisa, so let's keep going. Now, look at that. Look at that. Moylan's Brewery rocked the International Beer Awards here in Australia. Now, that is news worth celebrating. Colleague, Always Be Shipping co-colleague Michelle McPherson there. And, of course, again, I can just double tap. I can retweet to followers because I think that is worthy of retweeting. And if I just double tap, I can go and have a look. But you can see, boo. That's a real shame. Now here's an interesting thing. Tony Robbins has put, Apple now projects 15 billion apps to be sold in 2011. And there are now 500,000 apps to choose from. What are your 3 favourites? Tweetbot would have to be one of mine. But check this out, and this is really, really cool. If I want to see who's replied to this tweet, and this is when you see people ask questions and you wonder, I wonder if anybody replied? If we pull that over there, and I just literally swiped and held with my fingers, look at this. These are all the replies to that particular tweet. How awesome and how cool is that? Right? Check it out. So you can see who's replied, which is really, really cool. And often you can see, when you see other, you can see conversations when you're looking at with somebody. You can actually also look at conversations as well. So there's another one. I don't have time now, so I'm going to hold down my finger and I'm going to send that to Instapaper. You can see it's telling me the link saved successfully. So there you are. It took me approximately 16 minutes to go through, 12 hours of timeline and have a look at all of that information, which is fantastic. So I can have a look at my good old @replies here. And these are all the replies. Now, if I wonder what Jen's referring to here, and I can't think, oh, what was that about, Jen? I just slide across, and it shows me what tweet she was commenting on. How cool? Let's see that magic move again. So Clint's saying, do you know about Ford Sync and My Ford Touch? Now, I do know what that was about, but for example, if I just want to remember, I slide to the right, and look at that. There you have it. So you can see how cool just, my first scrape is Twitter. Now, why is Twitter my first new scrape? Why is that? Because of all for me, for the people I follow, they totally are, my touchstones and influences in different in my markets. So it's very important to me to see what they think is important overnight for me, because obviously the US day is during our nighttime. So that's useful. And I think you'll find that it's very useful for you guys going forward as well. So my first step of the morning, it took us 16 minutes if you're following along, has been to go through my timeline. Now, next, we're going to see in the next video me going through my ultimate all-time favorite application of all time, which is Reader, which takes all of my RSS feeds and process them. So let's get cracking on that in the next video.